Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Adina and for this video I will be doing an experience video. It will be my experience going to BTS's Citi Field concert. So this will be interesting. I've never done a video like this before. Yeah, I'm pretty much just gonna be explaining my experience and pretty much everything that I did, everything that happened that day, and I guess the days following up to the concert. Yeah, I guess we'll just start from the beginning then. Okay, so if you haven't seen my buying BTS tickets video, you can go check that out by clicking the card that's up above. But I got general admission tickets to see BTS at Citi Field, which was like amazing. It was literally it felt like a blessing, especially because I was so devastated after not getting tickets to Newark, and then they suddenly announced that they're going to be going to Citi Field, which is so much closer than Newark to me. So I was like, oh my god, this was meant to be, this is supposed to be happening. So I was so excited. I got 2 tickets, one for me, one for my friend, who we actually didn't even end up going together because she went to the DPR live concert the night before, which actually a lot of people went to that, and then to BTS's concert the next day. But yeah, she went to that and she wasn't really planning on getting to the BTS concert like early, like, you know, lining up early. So we didn't like go together because I ended up camping from Thursday morning to, you know, the day of the show to get the wristbands. But I ended up meeting an amazing group of girls who are so awesome. We had such a great time. We ended up camping together. We all met each other in a group chat. And it was actually really funny because one of the girls in that group chat actually goes to the same school as me, and I had recognized her, and we had actually had a class together before, and so it was really cool like seeing her in the group chat, and then we kind of connected more, and now we're like really good friends and we're always doing K-pop stuff together now. But it was great. I met a great group of girls. We have a group chat together, so it's great. I mean, those are like my first in real life K-pop friends, which is so great. I finally have friends who like K-pop. But anyway, so we started camping on Thursday morning. My friend and I, we both go to the same school. We went to Citi Field before our classes early in the morning, and I brought the tent and we set it up in our spot, and then another girl in the group chat came and she stayed with the tent while we went to class. So at that point we ended up being the last tent in the first section. There ended up being like 4 or 5 sections, I can't even remember, but so we were the last tent in the first section. And then after class I went back because the girl who stayed had to leave, so I went back and we were the first tent in the second section. So the security had asked us to move our tent back for like, because it was very tight, so they asked us to move our tent back, which kind of automatically made us be like the line leaders. I don't know, but like everybody was talking about how the first section, the first tent, that group of girls, they were like writing down names and giving out numbers and stuff like that, and then people were saying that they had stopped giving people numbers. And you know, when we got there that morning, we kind of asked them about it, and they weren't giving numbers at that time. And then they said that they were going to stop giving numbers at like 500 or something like that. But pretty much since we were the line leaders of the second section, we had the responsibility of writing down names and giving numbers to everybody behind us. And we didn't know what number the first group stopped at because they didn't really finish counting their group. So we didn't know how many people were in that first section. So the security just told us to start at 600. So my group and I were number 600 to 607. And then we continued on after that as people kept getting there. We wrote down numbers and names, and we did like +1s. It was every person could have only one +1, and +1s could not have a +1. That was the rule that everybody had kind of agreed on. And the other rule was that every tent needed to have at least one person in there at all times, in case like you needed someone to vouch for you that you were there, so that you wouldn't get your name taken away. It was known, everybody knew that. So it was going fine, we were doing well Thursday, and then Friday I had a volunteering thing, so I didn't go until Friday night. Other girls from our group were getting there, and they were with the tent and taking down names and numbers and stuff like that. And then I went back that night, and everything just went crazy Friday night. Everybody was like frustrated and stressed, and it was a mess. There was so much drama. The first section, people in the first section were getting very, very aggravated and very frustrated with the group of girls who were writing down the numbers, because there was like suspicion that people were cutting and that they weren't doing anything about it, or that the people who were cutting were with their group. And people in line were getting frustrated because they were upset that people would cut in front of them after they were waiting that whole time, and they got there that early. So everybody was getting mad, and they were like confronting the girls who were taking down names and numbers. And then security had to come in, and it was like all discussed, and they pretty much just made the group taking down the numbers and names in the first section, they made them go through everything, like go through the whole line again, just to make sure that they counted right, or that everybody has a number and it's in the correct order, and that nobody cut. And so they did that. And then because of that whole drama, the security came up to our tent next, because we were the line leaders of the second section, and they kind of explained to us, oh, there's a lot of tension over there, and you know, for you guys to avoid that, you should probably go through the line again, and you know, just make sure people are here. If they're not, just take them off the list. And then yeah, redo the numbers and everything. So we did. Now, mind you, this is like nighttime. This is like 10 o'clock. We are all kind of wanting to go to sleep to be ready for the concert the next day. We were like, okay, yeah, sure, we'll go through the numbers again. So we started going up the line of tents, checking people. We literally didn't get until we didn't get to the third tent before, you know, it was an empty tent. There wasn't anybody in the tent, and the rule is that there needed to be at least one person in the tent at all times to vouch for you if need be. There was nobody in the tent. So what can we do? So we kind of decided, you know, maybe we'll wait like an hour and give people some time. So we walked around our section, and we were like, section 2, we're gonna be doing a number check, and in like an hour, we're gonna start at 11, and please make sure at least one person is in your tent to vouch for you, and make sure that you're here. We literally walked around the section saying that to everybody we could see, like knocking on tents. We walked to the merch line and walked up and down the line, making sure that if anybody in section 2 is in there, that they knew that we would be doing a check at 11. So then we went back to our tent. We kind of just relaxed for a bit, or tried to, and then at 11 we started, and if there was not anybody in the tent, we took them off the list. They were no longer on the list. We created a whole new list. So we started with us again at 600 to 607, because we still didn't know how many people were in the first section, because they were still counting, and we needed to count ours. So we just started at 600 again, and like halfway through our section, the first section told us that their number stopped at like 550. So pretty much the numbers that our section 2 had, it was actually 50 less than the number that we gave them. So we just kind of made sure to tell people that, just to put them more at ease, because, you know, people get really frustrated if like they see that their numbers are going up, or, you know, so we just kind of made sure to tell them that it's actually 50 less than the number that you're getting, so just don't worry about it. But yeah, there were a few people who were not in the tent, and we did have to skip over them and just continue on with the numbers, because it was very, very late and we needed to like go to sleep. And even with that, it took hours. We started at 11, we did not end until like 2:30 in the morning, like 2:30, 2:40 in the morning.
2:47 a.m. How you guys feeling? YouTube. We camping.
Are you vlogging too?
Yep.
I'm freaking tired. I want to die.
And then we tried to sleep. It honestly did not work out. We were so tired. We tried to go to sleep at like 2:45 in the morning, and then we got up at like 4:30, so we barely got any sleep, and took down our tents for 5.
It is now 5 in the morning and we are taking our tents down, and everybody's here.
And then this is when things got really, really crazy, because that was the time when people who did not camp started to line up at the bullpen gate to get their wristbands, because they were all like, you know, we weren't supposed to be camping and stuff like that. And so that line shouldn't be honored, but the security had already told us that our line would be honored, so it was like, it was decided already. But we started seeing videos of people lined up at the bullpen gate, and everybody was getting frustrated and mad, and it was just so messy. And then when they started, in the sections, we started lining up. So we kind of just organized our section. Section 1 lined up in a line, they stayed in their section. Section 2, we got them into a line, and we stayed in our section. Like, we had planned to keep all of the sections separated, so that like lines wouldn't get mixed up and numbers wouldn't get mixed up together and all that. But that kind of went out the window, because section 3 started coming into section 2, and we were like, no, don't come over here, stay in your section, it'll be more organized that way. So like when one section's done, the next section can just move up, and then it'll be organized and fine. But the people in section 3 were saying that a security guard had told them to move up, which we found out later on was not true. There was no security guard who said that. I mean, we didn't know that at the time, so we were just like, all right, I guess, but like, don't connect the lines. But they still connected the lines. And then as section 4 was following section 3, that's when people who were lined up at the bullpen gate started coming over to the lot, because, you know, they had finally come to terms with the fact that you had to be in that lot to get your wristband. So they started coming over, and they saw the sections moving up, and they kind of just, there was a gap in between the barricades, and so they kind of just ran up the gap and were running to try and get in between, like get in front of the sections that were moving in and get into the line instead of going to the back. So when they started running in, everybody in the sections behind them started running up to try and keep their spot in line. And it was so bad. We watched the whole thing. Oh my God, it was just a mob of people. Our whole section, section 2, was just a mob of people. Our line was gone. There was no line whatsoever.
So all the sections moved up, and they're just a mob of people, and it's a mess. And then section 1 is just on their own, perfectly fine. And we're over here, we don't know what is going on, and it's just so bad.
Section 2 was lined up against the barricade, and then it curved a bit because, you know, there was just that many people, and it curved a bit at the end. And then after that line against the barricade and the curve, it's just a huge mob of people. There's no lines, nobody's looking at numbers, people are just in there. People are like frustrated. They're so mad. People start, you know, trying to get into the first section just because they're like pissed that people are cutting in front of them, and they're like, obviously the numbers don't matter anymore. And we're still like in the front of section 2, and we're trying to tell people like, no, relax, you know, the security said that if they don't have a number, they will be removed from the line. If your number is high and you're in a section where the numbers are lower, you're going to be removed. You won't be getting your wristband. You need to be in the order that, you know, that is your number. And some people just didn't want to listen, and so we just let them go. They like went to the back of section 1's line. So we were just like, I mean, I guess fine, if you feel like you need to, then go ahead, but we warned you and there's nothing we can do if you get removed from the line. And those people did get removed from the line. They were like 1,000 something, and then, you know, they were told to leave the line. But yeah, that was a mess. So 8 a.m. they started handing out the wristbands. They did section 1 first, and then they brought section 2 over. We got our wristbands, and we actually ended up getting pink wristbands. The way they did it, I think the first 2,000 got pink wristbands, and then like the second 2,000 got blue or something like that, and they kept changing the colors, and depending on the wristband that you got, you would come back at a different time. But that was pretty much just so there isn't a huge amount of people arriving at the same time, so like they can get people organized at the time that they come, so that there's space for people when they come at the later times. They didn't want like thousands of people, like 10,000 people showing up at one time. It would have been too much for them to handle. So they separated the times, and then we lined up outside of the venue. And we were let in at 4. So we were pretty much waiting. So we waited for the wristbands from Thursday morning to Saturday morning. At like 8:30-ish we got our wristbands, and then we had to come back at 1. So not much time to really do anything, especially if you camped, and if you like didn't go home and change into your outfit for the concert or whatever, or like back to your hotel to change for the concert, then like you didn't have time to do anything. So I didn't have time to do anything. I literally, my parents picked me up after I got the wristbands. We went to go eat breakfast, but that didn't really work because I started feeling really sick. I think it was just a lot of the anxiety and the stress from, you know, writing down names and numbers and like trying to keep people organized. It was just too much, and I started feeling really sick that morning, so I couldn't even eat anything. And then we went home. By that time it was like 10:30 maybe, and so I tried to get like, I think by the time we got home it was like 11, and so I tried to get like half an hour of sleep. So I set an alarm clock, but then I forgot to turn the sound on, so that was great. So I ended up getting back to the venue at like a little past 1, like 1:15. But I still ended up meeting up with my group in the line, and we were fine. So then we ended up staying in that line for 3 hours until 4, when they let us into the venue in small groups.
Check your ticket to see which entrance to use.
There's only one entrance for
And we actually got some pretty good spots. We ended up on the side of the walkway towards the extended stage on the right side. We were pretty close to the stage. That didn't last for long. So we ended up standing in there for another 3 hours because concert didn't start until 7. They let us in at 4, so we were standing for several hours.
Oh my God, that's
And honestly, oh my God, when that concert started, it was so bad. It was so bad. GA for a stadium is something I don't think I'll ever be doing ever again. Once the concert started, once the boys popped up, I could not breathe. I could not hear, I could not see. That was the most terrifying thing I'd ever gone through. Idol started and all I heard was screaming, like ear-piercing screaming. Just, it was so bad. I felt like my ears were, like, I felt like my eardrums were gonna pop. It was so bad. I couldn't hear them. I couldn't hear myself. I couldn't, I couldn't see because everybody's arms were up in the air with their phones trying to film. I could barely breathe because people started shoving in to try and get closer to the stage. And there were just too many people in GA. There were too many people. after the first song, I just could not take it anymore. I tried to stay through their introductions.
You're my whore. I'm Joe. Citi killed. Wow. Finally, you're here in New York. Citi killed. Love yourself tour.
Yeah. From LA. Now it's the last night of North America tour.
We are here in the Citi Fair. You can't believe it. So many dreams came true. Answer release. Wow. Billboard #1 again. Started brand new tour and the US Keys. Okay, it was quite an honor. It was really an honor. Somebody remember my speech? Thank you. I love to get to know every one of you. So will you speak yourself and tell me your story? Thank you.
Then I did, but I could not stay in that section by the time they had started the second song. So I was like struggling to get out, and these two girls who were so kind, they helped me get to the barricade so that I could be carried out by the security. So I was lifted over the barricade and then escorted to like this section where they were literally wheeling people out of GA because they were passing out and hyperventilating and panicking because they couldn't breathe. And it was so bad and so sad to see, honestly. The only good part about being carried out was that I got to be a bit closer to the boys, because you know, it's like inside, it's between the barricade and the stage, so like you're walking through here, and so you get really close to the stage. That was like the only good part. I got to see them a little bit closer, just that much closer, just for a quick second. But yeah, then I was put in a wheelchair and I was wheeled away to the medical section, which was not a fun experience. They were very kind though. The staff and Big Hit staff, the stadium staff, they were all very kind and very attentive towards people who were being taken out. They were giving people like little bags of chips for, you know, some sugar if they needed it, water bottles. It was just really sad to see when you like go into the medical section. When I went, there was already like 5 to 6 girls in there, and it was just really bad. After I went in, people were being wheeled in, just like drenched in sweat, hyperventilating, crying. People were bawling their eyes out, and I felt so bad. Like, I did not stay long enough to get that bad, but I felt it coming. And just, I knew I had to get out of there before I got to that stage. So seeing them come in, it was so sad to see. And it wasn't even just me. Like, in my group of friends, there were 8 of us. 3 of us were like struggling in there, but we all kind of got separated at that point because I got carried out. So I ended up staying at the back of GA, away from the crowd for like the rest of the concert. It was just too much in there. I was not gonna try and get back in there or get to the back of it. It wasn't happening. But it was totally fine. So I was getting turned out by myself in the back with the big screens, and even in the back you could still see the boys very clearly on stage. Plus you had the giant screens, you were fine, but in the back. people in the back were like chilling. People were sitting, people were doing the choreo in the back. I was like, yes. So I still totally enjoyed the concert. The worst part was GA, that whole GA experience, being crushed and like suffocated, feeling like I was gonna get trampled. That was the worst part. Other than that, the boys were amazing. I loved the fact that I actually got to see them in person. After so many years of listening to their music and watching their content, I finally got to see them in person. Like, it was just so surreal.
우리 시리 더럽혀 어쩌면 우주의 성이 그냥 그랬던 거야. You know I know 너는 나 설레는 많이 들려와 너무 힘들지 그지도 않았어 너만큼 나도 무서워. When you see me, when you touch me 조명을 위해 움직였어. 조명을 헤어진 남조차 없었어. 너의 행복이 예정이던 걸 Cause you love me and I love you. 너의 보이고 나의 나의 천사 나의 세상. 모든 건 정해진 거였어. Just let it out.
어머나들이 하루하루 오수같이 넌 나에게 추억대로 놔둔 사람. 사람들이 사랑으로만을 살아. 널 알기 전에 심장으로 직선을 잃는 거야. 난 그냥 살아. 나 모르는 목소리 자신 나는 살아. 만들어 우리 살아. 좀 소위 말하는 직선에서 내 살아. 그의 사지 않지 마시. I live for love. Say love. 너 때문에 알았어 왜 사랑과 사랑이 비슷한 소리가 나는지. Let to love, let to love. 너 때문에 알았어 왜 사람이 사랑을 하며 살아가 하는지. Why you 아무리 모지마 JKLFN You're asking 모두 비자고 내가 내게 닿지. 밤에만 해도 똑같은 소리가 나잖아. 그렇다고 내가 넌 아닌 좋아. 너 책장에 목을 대고 봐. 너의 소설에 나 장면하고 봐. 나는 너를 아끼는 너나 모르는 목소리 자신 나는 살아. 깜빡이는 무대 예속이를 잡아 이런 차가운 내 외쳐 한번 맛보면 순간 빠지면 나는 완전 속이다 오케이 난 잡아내서 막 잡힌 보이는 나타 찍고 다니는 무릎이 더
슬퍼도 기쁜 척할 수가 있었어 우리의 사랑은 아파도 강한 척할 수가 있었어 사랑이 슬프고 완벽하게 내 모든 기적들 다 숨겨지길 이루어지지 않는 꿈속에서 피할 수 없는 꽃을 키웠어
네가 없는 네 시소 위로 파란 네가 없는 처음 파란 네가 없는 네 시소 위로
concert, me and my friends, we were all like, I can't believe that just happened. Did that really just happen? And it felt like it went by so fast. Although that's probably because I was taken out and missed like 5 or 6 songs, which sucked because I was so looking forward to some of the songs that I missed. Like Magic Shop I missed Jungkook's solo, I missed J-Hope's solo, I missed so many performances, which was so upsetting. And towards the end I kind of felt like I didn't really get the full concert experience. So I'm definitely gonna be seeing them again. I mean, duh. But they were just so amazing. With the performances that I did see, they are just such energetic performers and they put so much effort into everything they do. And they're such amazing human beings. And their ending ments, oh my god. They got me so emotional. Namjoon's ending ment is something that is going to be sticking with me forever because that really hit me really hard. Where he said that he used us ARMY to love himself and how he wanted us to use them to love ourselves. And that just hit me so much, and I felt the tears coming, and I tried so hard to hold it in. And then Jimin, when he was doing his ending ment, it looked like he was gonna cry, and I kept like shouting, oh, don't cry, please don't cry. Like he looked like he was gonna start crying, and he was able to hold it in until they started saying goodbye and like waving bye and stuff like that. And that's when it happened. He started bawling his eyes out, and I could not take it. Like, I'm sure everybody has seen the video by now. It was all over Twitter where he just put his hand over his face and he was just bawling his eyes out, and I could not take it. Oh my god, I literally cried. I cried. I cried. He's such a precious human being, and I love them all so much. I love every single one of them so much, and this whole experience honestly just solidified it for me, because although it was so stressful and it was so aggravating and it gave me a lot of anxiety, which my anxiety is already really bad at times, this like made it so much worse. But the concert itself and watching them perform, it made all of that go away. And it made me feel so happy, and oh, it was just an experience that I would love to have again. Seeing them perform made up for everything. Like everything that I'd gone through, everything that I experienced went away, and it was just such an amazing experience. And I'm so sad that I missed so many performances, but I'm definitely going to be trying to see them again. Like, there was no doubt about that even before the concert. Like, if I have the chance to see them again, I'm definitely gonna try to. But yeah, this was a great experience in many ways, both with seeing how people can get in such situations, as well as seeing the boys in person, and also getting to meet such an amazing group of ARMYs who we are now, you know, still friends and talk in our group chat almost daily actually. So it was just a great experience, and I'm so happy that I actually got to go and got to experience this. Just, you know, just this whole video just made me think of it again, and I'm smiling and I feel so happy just thinking about it. Unfortunately, because of the whole camping stress and all of that, I didn't get to do as much as I wanted to. Like, I really wanted to go to the booths and all of that, but I just couldn't because I was so tired and just so stressed, and my anxiety wasn't working for me. So that's kind of why I turned this into an experience video instead of a vlog, because I just didn't film enough. I didn't do enough to film, which also sucked. I wish I had the opportunity to go to booths and stuff like that, but I mean, next time. Gotta be optimistic. I'm sorry if this is like a horrible video, and if it seems like I'm complaining a lot and you didn't get a lot of like stuff that you kind of wanted to hear. If it was just a lot of complaining, I'm sorry, but I kind of needed to get that off my chest because it really had me stressed, and it like made my anxiety go through the roof for a while, like after the concert. So kind of just needed to get it off my chest. And I'm also sorry that this video is coming so late. I've been totally overwhelmed with school and just haven't had the time to film anything. And I'm so behind on anything K-pop related. Like, I have not seen any of the music videos that have come out. So there's gonna be a lot of catching up to do in the future. But that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what other videos you would like to see, and make sure you subscribe to my channel and turn on the post notifications, because I am a full-time college student and I don't have time to be doing this stuff consistently. So if you turn that on, you'll know when I post and it'll be easier for you. But yeah, I'll see you guys next video. Bye.